Poppin' Squad? It's your boy Jay, and today, man, I got something quick for y'all. Look, everybody's been asking me about my striker build. I've been posting a lot of gameplay on striker. You guys have seen. I'm not trying to get it nerfed. I'm not saying it's OP, but it is a really, really good build. It's something that I haven't really spent a lot of time on until recently, and I kind of realized how strong it is. And people have been asking me exactly how I run it. I know there's a million ways to run it. I know many people put videos out on it, but this is just the way I've been using it. I didn't look for any guidance towards it. I already like stamina, so I already knew how to build towards that. And I kind of tweaked around, played around, and came up with a nice little synergy for it, and it works. So you guys have seen gameplay already. I'm not going to put gameplay in this video. You guys have heard me talk about it. I'm not even going to get into that. So without further ado, let's get in. So off the top, you guys can see my firepower is at 335, toughness at 600k, skill power at 86k, firearms at 4145, stamina at 9006, electronics at 2800, same mode weapon. I'm using the house SMG with 23% crit chance. It is fully optimized, so what you're seeing is optimized version of the house with this build. So you're not going to get anything higher than this with 4100 firearms. So you're going to be hitting for 17.3k base damage, which isn't even important. I wish I can honestly. I'll probably end up going lower in firearms because you really don't need firearms, and maybe stacking into toughness. I don't know. We'll see. But as of right now, this is where I'm liking it. So talents I'm using is vicious and deadly. The reason I choose vicious and deadly as a combination over deadly and unforgiving or whatever else people run. I feel since I'm staying at a lot of health, since most of the time I'm at 80 to 90 stacks, most of my fights are going to be with me over 2 bars of health anyways. I want to bank on having over 2 instead of under 2 with unforgiving to get my damage. And honestly, it doesn't even really make a difference at the end of the day because the crit chance is so high. But I mean, it's better to have it as high as possible rather than depending on being at low health with a build that's healing you. So it's basically contradicting yourself if you're using unforgiving with this build, because technically as you get more stacks, it's going to be harder for you to get the extra damage, and you're kind of like nerfing yourself by being full health, and you don't want to do that. So pretty much that's the best way I say run it, is vicious and deadly. Deadly obviously because you have such high crit chance, you're going to get raw damage from deadly, and vicious just to proc that deadly even more. And if you get lucky, of course you can get card counter, and card counter will make you hit like a truck for a couple seconds. So that's something to look forward to. Showstopper, I've already spoken on this many a times. The reason why I use Showstopper with these builds that get stacks is because Showstopper for some reason just stacks abnormally, 5-6 shots, and you're upwards to 60, 70, 80 stacks. So it's really, really good if you just want to switch off to hit an NPC with, instead of wasting your bullets and melting him with the house. You can use those. You can use that same NPC and almost quadruple the amount of stacks you would have got had you just used your SMG just to arm yourself for the next fight. So that's why I use Showstopper. A lot of people say they like using their M4s and stuff, and that's fine. That's completely up to you. I'm not gonna say that it's better because I enjoy relying on my house. I don't use this with anything else. People use assault rifles. I feel assault rifles better for PC players, but for me, if you're on console, grab the Showstopper, get your stacks, and switch to your house and capitalize on that, especially since the synergy is in your SMG. Get onto the build itself. I am rocking a striker harness chest with stamina main stat. You want to make sure you roll stamina on this. Don't try to go reverse and try to put stamina mods. Roll stamina. So skill, haste, health, and ammo capacity. Typical god roll. Some people want extra damage, so they put enemy armor damage or whatnot, or resilience. Don't put resilience. Put as much health as possible, because you want to feel as tanky as possible with those stacks. And that kind of what makes the build feel the way it does. Even though Predator's Mark and Predator's Bleed is really effective and you want to defend against that, rely on getting over like 50 stacks, which will pretty much negate the Predator Bleed anyway. So that's why I roll health instead of enemy armor damage or exotic damage, resilience, or whatever. So going into my mask, it's Striker Mask, roll also for stamina, and I have crit chance. Do not roll anything else besides crit chance. It's not worth it. The minor attribute doesn't really matter, but make sure you have crit chance because it's going to capitalize the damage you get over time. Since you're just spraying anyways, you're not using a pulse, so you want to be able to get as much critical chance in every situation as possible. But some people are saying, well, you can have a better heal with skill power, you don't really need that much crit chance, you already have 50. Don't listen to that. Just go straight crit chance. It's the best in slot for this, as I personally feel. Going to my knee pads, This is where things change up, and this is where I started having a little fun with the build, and I started switching back and forth. I used to have all health on everything, just to be as tanky as possible, but I noticed over time it really wasn't that much of a difference, especially when I have my stacks going up. So I kind of played around and said, okay, well, let me make this hit as hard as possible having 9k stamina. So it's a main stat stamina roll with 7% critical hit damage, and people may think, oh, well, that's not best in slot. I'm telling you, it adds up, and it does feel like a difference. It's like getting a whole nother deadly talent instead of card counter. That's kind of how I think of it. I use critical hit damage as my major attribute on all my super tanky builds, except when I was kind of testing around with this build. But for the most part, this is what you want to run critical hit damage on your knee pads. You are going to be well off with stamina anyway, since you're going to be at 9,000 anyway. So make sure you guys roll crit damage on that. On the backpack, it's going to be the same thing. So you can see I am main stat stamina. Like I said, for this build, you want everything rolled towards stamina. You don't really need firearms. They'll come through the mods, which I'll showcase in a little bit. Roll this towards stamina with crit damage. And this is another thing I switched off, so I can easily go up to like around 620 toughness or whatnot, but I don't really feel I need that much when I'm kind of relying on my stack. So that's pretty much how I would do it. I'm not saying this is the best way, but this is for the exact way. All the gameplay you guys have been seeing, like me destroying with my last video on Striker, this is the exact way I roll it. That is 14% crit damage for free, without even really losing anything you're going to notice, because you're not going to notice the health. So going to my gloves, Striker gloves, nothing fancy here. This is the only thing I have rolled towards firearms, and that's just so I can get my vicious and deadly procced. More so deadly, because you don't want to be under 3,800. But as you can see, I am at 41, and you only need 38. So I can roll off this. I can probably somehow squeeze 3,800. I wouldn't recommend it. I just think one firearms is all you need. I just have it on my gloves just because I didn't have nothing else to roll anyways. You see 1,001 armor, so they're pretty good already, unoptimized. I haven't touched all this, so what you're looking at is all unoptimized besides my house. So your stats are obviously going to be way higher if you have the funds to optimize. But I have crit damage, SMG damage, and crit chance on this. Pretty much that's it. There's nothing else to roll. Everybody knows this. The gloves are pretty much have always been the same. Going into the holster, this is another thing. I could have rolled health on, but instead I took critical hit chance. You're not going to notice the difference in health, like I said, with this build in particular. So get crit chance wherever you can. You can see I just rolled my firearms up a little bit. That's pretty much irrelevant, but optimized, you can see the potential of how much difference the stats will look if you have the money to blow on that, and if you like Striker that much. Going to my character sheet, you can see stamina 9,000, firearms 41, electronics 28, weapon damage 17k, crit chance is at 51.50%. You don't need any more than that. People say, oh, I want to max it out with the pulse. Not worth it. You're better off taking that immune station, getting 33% of your health back when you pop it, with the stacks and everything. You know, you want to be able to have as much survivability as possible, because that's the only thing that really makes a build powerful in this meta, is the survivability factor. Won't be able to dish, and this build will be able to do everything. So going to crit damage, 127%, headshot damage 62%, accuracy 4%, stability 30%, range 58 feet, reload time 2.4 seconds, no bonus on reload, all damage, assault rifle, no damage, LMG, marks rifle, all this obviously, 12% SMG damage from the gloves, no damage to elites, but you can still use this as a PVE build. It's still going to melt them regardless. 15% enemy armor damage and threat nobody really cares about. You have a 9% skill haste, which is okay to have, you know, and that comes from your chest piece. There's not really nothing else to roll on that, so why not get a little bit extra skill haste? My max health is at 412. This is really good, especially obviously for a lot of reasons. People know anybody running 7k firearms would appreciate this and know that that's a lot of health. So armor mitigation 31.39%. Obviously all this gets maximized when you go into last stand or skirmish, so that's pretty much irrelevant, but this is the actual, so you guys can see everything. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully you guys enjoy. Look, I want you guys to try this build my way. If you're watching this to see exactly how I run it, try it my way and then build around that. I feel this is a pretty good blueprint for the stamina version. It is cookie cutter. It's nothing crazy, but a lot of players are re-rolling things that they shouldn't be rolling and wasting it. So if you have fresh Striker, if you're watching this and you know you wanted a guidance on how to roll it, this is my way that I feel works for me. I know a lot of people do agree that stamina is the best way to go since the damage output. This, in my opinion, is better than the 7K version. So for people who are asking, before you guys even write in the comments, well, do you think the 7K version is more optimal than this? I don't think so. I think eventually 7K, runs to its end because it doesn't have the survivability that this amount of toughness will give you just naturally. So the damage is what's easy. It's easier to get the damage than it is to get the healing. So the payoff is better for you to put in toughness since you're gonna get so much damage anyways, rather than you already having decent damage and going to an abnormal amount of damage, but your toughness pretty much stays as low as it can get, and you're still gonna get bursted if you come across somebody else who's, for example, like this build, if it's fully stacked, it's still gonna melt anything under 600k. It melts people with 600k, so best believe if you're under that, it's gonna be a real problem for you if you can't take off my 600k first. So that's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoy, man. I know I'm gonna sound kind of mellow, your boy's kind of tired, but people have been asking me, so I want to put this build out for you guys, give you guys the details. And also, before I forget, here are my attachments. People love seeing this. C789 scope, extended magazine, small grip red, loud vent brake. The mods I'm using are stamina health mod. There's 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have 5 stamina health mods. With first aid self heal, you can put post critical hit chance if you just really feel you need to use a pulse and you want to maximize it. You can do that. I wouldn't recommend it, but first aid self heal is the way I would go. The better healing, the better survivability and better chances you have in the dark zone, especially in solo situation. This is a solo build. This is a team build. This is a PVE build. It's pretty much good at everything. The only flaw I see with this build is if you come across a situation where there's so many people that you get overwhelmed and you don't get to have the focus to gather your stacks. Without stacks, it's just a normal tank build. With stacks, it becomes best build in the game. And like I said, it is a manual build depending on your playstyle. So hope you guys enjoy, man. Hope you guys, this was detailed enough for you guys. I wanted to take a little bit more time going in detail rather than showing gameplay. If you guys want to see gameplay on this, check out my last few videos. I've showcased how crazy this build is. I have a 45 kill streak on last stand with this build. I ran through multiple people, multiple solo manhunts, multiple solo runs. It does everything. So hopefully you guys enjoy. Thank you so much. 35K gang. It's been real. Your boy is out.